Naruto is a story that will always have a special place in my heart. Like it, Dragon Ball Z and Bleach were my first introduction to anime and manga as a whole. While Bleach is my favorite of these series story-wise, Naruto is most definitely a close second because of the numerous fights that tell a magnificent story in and of themselves, and it's astonishing. Some of my favorites are Minato vs Obito, Pain vs Naruto, Neji vs Hinata, and today's subject, Itachi vs Sasuke. Sasuke vs Itachi is a confrontation I think every fan of the series had been waiting for, regardless of whether or not they liked Sasuke. Being the second main character, a large amount of time is spent focusing on Sasuke's motivation for chasing revenge, and the justification for that chase is more than reasonable. The build-up, climax, and ramifications of this battle were beyond my expectations. What started as a run-of-the-mill revenge storyline shifts into a story of two brothers abused and torn apart by the ninja world. The plotline's evolution held massive significance for the future of Sasuke's character and by proxy, future story beats. I think this battle expands on both combatants in ways only a few fights do in Naruto as a series and Shonen as a whole. So let's get into it. This is Itachi vs Sasuke, the Naruto series' best fight. Sasuke's entire character for part 1 is built off of his trauma from the Uchiha clan massacre. His distance, antisocialness, and early development for getting fresh out of the academy are telltale signs of the mark it has left on him. His difficult time forming connections with others is a symptom of how the person he cherished most in the world betrayed him and explains the little interactions he has with others outside of his team. Naruto in particular is someone he finds the most commonality with, as Kakashi and Sasuke have a relationship that is more geared toward training and Sakura holds a one-sided romance. Naruto, much like him, keeps pushing his limits for the reality he wants to bring to fruition. Their connection is not always outwardly stated, but the respect they have for one another can be tracked. A sibling relationship could be found through these interactions, but its ultimate breakdown begins after Itachi's first appearance in the story. Sasuke and Itachi's backstory really sells to the readers why Itachi should be viewed in the light that he is. From their flashback, the relationship these two have is pretty one-sided. Sasuke is always trying to grab Itachi's attention but can never get it, an enduring pattern from the massacre to the present day. A young boy vying for his older brother's attention against all going on in his life. This interaction between these two is a measure of how far off Sasuke is from avenging his clan. He's completely out of his depth and cannot begin to fathom how strong Itachi has gotten over the years. He throws caution to the wind, allowing his self-destructive side to come to the surface, as exemplified by the burning flesh from his hand and arm. The Chidori is a mark of his training, but much like his rage, means little in the face of Itachi Uchiha. The gap in power established by this event doubles as the starting point of Sasuke's negative character arc. He seemed to drift away from the drive toward revenge until he got to see the man who pushed him to get stronger in the first place. His thirst for power becomes the centerpiece of his character, and the start of his journey begins by taking down Naruto. Naruto and Sasuke's relationship has been constructed like two wayward brothers who could never admit they had a connection to one another until one of them stepped from the beaten path. Sasuke takes that step and a confrontation follows. Naruto is arguably, if not certainly, Sasuke's only real friend. They respect, compete with, and protect each other. But for Sasuke, that bond is a weakness. Bonds of familial or platonic love have done nothing for him except lead to pain or betrayal. In this way, he reflects Itachi, not leaving behind a massacre, but the only people who truly wish to stand at his side through everything to come. Naruto is the only bond left to cut off that would matter before he goes rogue, exactly like Itachi did to him. It feels like a deliberate parallel between these two so they could meet at the end of the road after experiencing similar circumstances. Part 1 left everyone with nothing except animosity towards Itachi and Sasuke as well. A masterful way of aligning our distaste of both characters, so we would have to patiently wait for their inevitable clash. And Shippuden would not disappoint. The way this fight begins with a question of whether Sasuke possesses the same eyes was a clever piece of dialogue for two reasons. First is proof that Sasuke could stand before his brother by having the same capabilities as he. Their exchange of genjutsu here serves as a pseudo measure of this goalpost being fulfilled, all the while serving the second reason, that being the foreshadowing of all these exchanges being genjutsu. It weaves together Sasuke's newfound power with his consistent hatred of his brother. The eyes that once tortured him were now merely difficult tests of ocular skill. It's beautiful because Itachi never needed to physically harm his younger brother, instead using illusions. Now he's forced to engage in combat against him. Once again, it's a truly beautiful way to begin this fight. Speaking of their exchange of genjutsu, I think it is interesting that Itachi is the one to make the first move. Much like their first encounter, Sasuke wasted no time going for the kill. Before, it was impatience and immaturity that made him choose such an impulsive course of action. Now Itachi's attempt to kill Sasuke off the bat reminds me of the same, not because he's immature, impulsive, or impatient, as he's been shown to be cold and calculated. Instead, it feels like him testing him, to see if that petulant child in respect to him has truly grown, and he gets his answer. What follows their exchange of blows is Itachi's explanation of the Mangekyo Sharingan in Madara's history. It's a moment where the pacing of the fight slows to a crawl, a moment where Sasuke learns all he can from the man he once loved as his older brother. It feels like they connected again somewhat in this moment, but it would not stop any of what came next. The balance of this fight with Itachi's superior Sharingan experience and combat ability should overwhelm his younger brother. However, the misdirection of Sasuke throughout this battle keeps him up to par while being something to marvel at both in and out of the illusions employed. They were always keeping pace with one another until their respective final gambits in this fight. Sasuke's Kirin is the epitome of his resourcefulness, a sign that he's truly eclipsed anything Itachi could have predicted, but his trump card isn't anything in the face of Itachi's own. Even with the power of Orochimaru, Sasuke couldn't hold a candle to Itachi's full power. He knew little about his older brother, just like he did when he was a young boy. Sasuke is ignorant of what his brother is capable of, and exactly what his reasoning was for doing what he did to the very end. Living, for one thing, is a double-edged sword. You are driven so much toward that one thing that when it vanishes, you have to redefine your mind and possibly your own developments. I feel as though this idea makes up a lot of Sasuke's character and is the outcome of this fight. The reveal of Itachi's motive by Obito shatters the perception of him while pushing forward the story to come. It beautifully rationalized the next chapter in Sasuke's journey. Questioning how well we as readers understand the Konoha we've seen our favorites from the series hail from. This fight is one of my favorites in Naruto because it offers the cruelest twist on the story. Sasuke's quest for vengeance feels like it undergoes natural development while answering the questions of what comes next and why Itachi did what he did. This height of storytelling is demonstrated through the build-up, choreography, tone, and even technical skill with jutsu. The story feels so tightly interwoven with all these aspects of this fight that I cannot help but think it's the best in the series. Itachi and Sasuke have one of the most engaging dynamics in the series bar none, and are a huge part of what makes Naruto's story worth reading. It is not afraid to make characters hard to understand, and seemingly the most despicable characters sympathetic. Unfortunately, this brings me to the end of this video. So I thank you all very much for watching. Please stay safe out there and have yourselves a damn good one. I'll see you all next time.